The Kings, spoiler alert, probably will not go undefeated. They lose to the Blazers, which was basically a flashback, Chris, to last season. When was it? Skylar Mays.
That's right.
We got him a deal.
Duop Reith.
Yeah, we got him a deal. He's still waiting for Skylar or his family to call in and say thank you.
Do we think Skylar Mays is still on the Blazers? We know.
No. Remember, he went to the. I thought he went to the Lakers.
Okay.
For a hot second, and I don't know what happened to the Lakers. Well, I don't know what happened after that. He's definitely not still on the Lakers.
Let's see here. Timberwolves signed him 4 weeks ago.
There you go.
I don't know that. I would assume that that's just a training camp deal. Who knows if he makes it past that?
How far does a Super Bowl take you, and how far does a great game against
career night in Sacramento get you?
That's exactly right. Also, don't forget, if you were scared from that shooting performance from the Kings yesterday, you can continue to be scared at Fright Fest. Thank you, Fright Fest. Because when the sun goes down, the Kings brick shots, and that scare factor turns up. Unleash your screams with Fright Fest only at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. In about 20-ish minutes, we will give away those tickets. And fellas, if you want to go with that special someone, you got to get real close, sweetie. Don't worry, you won't get too scared.
Was Six Flags a popping place in the Bay?
That was my guess.
Because I was like, it's very much a destination.
Let's go to
for
Six
here
Flags.
In Sacramento.
Then I ended up jumping more than they did. That's what
really? Yeah, we used to like for the radio stations, like we used to be out there doing remotes and things like that, and they were like even though it's for kids, like Fright Fest is not legitimately like a pretty scary experience.
And I'm trying to do the ride. I'd rather do the rides.
That's what
I'm
there for.
It's
like on the way to the rides, they like got these exhibits.
They're like, no, let's go in the corn maze. I'm like, yeah, we can go. I mean, I'm not tripping. We can go.
Roar.
I'm like, what's that one? Steam Clowns. Oh yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite. Fright Fest. Mm-hmm. 10. And don't get too close.
Clowns aren't real, right?
Don't get too close because I'll swing.
Yeah, I'm shocked that does not happen more often.
Catch a case, you know what I mean? All right.
Popping out of dumpsters.
10 minutes, your chance to catch a case and go to Fright Fest if somebody gets too close. This is what Mike Brown had to say about the L. Getting beat by a young team because of how hard they played and how physical they played was a good learning experience for our team. Chris, I think that's a terrible quote. I'm sorry. I mean, that's not what you want to. That is the least. That is the last thing Kings fans want to hear, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I think the preseason is saving the freak out of it all for sure. Like, I think if this is the fourth or fifth game of the season, I think we are on probably like an 8 or maybe a 9 in terms of the freak out scale. But since it's preseason, I think we can, or when I say we, I kind of be myself, can kind of push it down and justify it and say it's okay. They didn't come out for a preseason game in which, honestly, I mean, how much less motivated can you be? You play the Golden State Warriors 2 straight times. You have a nice little home and road, and then you come home on a Sunday at 3:00 to play one of the worst teams in the NBA. You probably go out there and expect, oh yeah, this is going to feel like we take the ankle weights off. And I think instead they kind of did get hit with the harsh reality that all these guys are NBA players and they're all NBA teams. And maybe especially even in the preseason, like if you're not going to bring the attention to detail, the other team might be able to capitalize it. Even a team as appearingly harmless as the Blazers, they can take advantage of you on any given night. And I think it is just unfortunately, and again, I'm only saying this because it is preseason, but I think it's just a learning lesson that you do have to take and hopefully you learn from. Hopefully that's the problem is the Kings, they had all of these learning lessons last year. They just didn't learn anything from it. They had opportunities to learn, but they didn't actually take the lesson from it. Hopefully, that's all we can say right now is hopefully they actually, take this one to heart and don't let it happen come regular season time. But I can at least understand why they came out flat. Doesn't make it better, but especially in the third preseason game, you would think that they would still have a little bit of juice left.
They were 18% from 3-point range yesterday, 5 for 27 over the last 3 games, or should I say the first 3 games of the preseason. They are 25 out of 100, good for 25%. That is not good at all. And as they continue that, Mike Brown had this to say about the the numbers. I truly think we'll be a better three-point shooting team than that. Offensively, I think we're going to have the chance to be pretty good. Well, I'd hope so.
I hope so.
I really would hope so. From the 916, Chris Allen, are we afraid the Kings suck? Thought the trade would make us better. Certainly not worse. That is from the 916. Yeah, I don't think they're going to stink. 916. I think it was a rough game. I mean, I think that it helped us to get rid of some of the purple fade on our glasses a little bit and say, okay, this team is not going to be perfect. And if they don't play their best, this is still the Western Conference, and you can drop games that you shouldn't. I think that's the main thing. The issue with last season was losing games that you were not supposed to lose. Getting DeMar DeRozan, we felt like that shouldn't happen anymore, or shouldn't happen at the same clip. And if it does happen at the same clip, that will be a problem.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. And you're not going to be a top 4 seed. You will be staring at the play-in again if you lose to teams like the Blazers, if you lose to teams like the Hornets. If you lose games you're not supposed to lose, I think there is a fairly even distribution of the tough games and the harder games and the easier games. But if you blow the games you're supposed to win, then we said, oh my gosh, what did the NBA do to the Kings? Look at their ending stretch. Well, that's because you blew the games that you were supposed to win. So you got to take care of business there, and then you're not looking like that. You have to build a little bit up first. That's what the Kings were unable to do last season. Continuing the conversation a little bit later as we talk Kings, it is time to head to the NFL graveyard.
Ooh.
And which NFL teams are we burying for the season? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown